Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple needle felted ornament. This is something that children can do. My daughter made her first one when she was maybe 3.5 years old, although she had really good fine motor, so maybe not all children would start that young. But it's by using a cookie cutter, you're able to protect little fingers from the sharp needles. So I'd get a cookie cutter in the shape that you want. You're using a mitten, and get your wool roving, which looks somewhat like this, whatever color you want to. And you start by filling up the cookie cutter shape with pieces of roving. So just kind of cram this all in there. It really mats down when you begin felting it, so it will need a little more than than it looks like you will. That's pretty full. So there we go. Now with your felting needles, they come in various sizes. They come in a lot of sizes, but when I bought these ones, they came in two sizes, and we have fine and coarse. And for the initial, fine is something I would use when working on details or smoothing a surface, adding small bits. But for taking it from wool roving down to, the basic shape of my ornament, I'm going to want to use a coarse one because it's going to do the work a whole lot faster. So take out the needle. These needles are very sharp. You really don't want to poke yourself with these. If you're doing this with a child, especially the first few times, really close supervision is needed. They need to understand that this is a tool, not a plaything, and it can really hurt if you stick yourself. So, on the needle are itty-bitty little nicks and grooves, and what these do is they catch the wool fibers, and basically on the wool are little like scales, and the scales catch together and become kind of interlocked, and the more you poke it, the more interlocked they become. So here I'm going to start poking down this wool into the cookie cutter shape. Sometimes I sweep with a needle just to catch some stray fibers, get them in there. And at this point, I have it basically down into the form. A little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. When I'm doing this in a cookie cutter, I flip it back and forth repeatedly so that I'm working both sides. And the thing about needle felting is it does take a lot of poking. I find it meditative and relaxing. I love the sound the needle makes. But it's not something where you get a quick result. So at this point, we're going to speed up the video for you so that this doesn't take forever. And I'll explain more in a bit. Okay, as you can see, on the other side of where you're working, the fibers go down all the way through and get really long and fuzzy. Well, what I'm going to start doing now, since it's pretty well formed, is I'm going to start poking more shallowly so I'm not forcing the fibers to go so deep. Also going to sweep the needle a bit from the side to catch some of those fibers and give them a little poke to get them in. Still is a little fuzzy, but not as much as it used to be. So I'm just going to keep working and flipping. Let's see. And I'll try rubbing it like this a bit. I'm going to start working it without the cookie cutter. I'll set that aside. And I want to work on the edge. Just make the edge a little firmer. You got a really young child or someone who's really, really new to it, you might want to skip the stage. It's not completely important. Because at this point I am poking a little bit toward my own fingers and I don't have the protection of the metal wall. But it does help just give it a little more form. Okay, I'll flip it over and do the same thing on the edges on the other side. Okay. And there we have our basic mitten shape. Okay, now we're going to put a decoration on our mitten ornament. You can buy on Amazon sample packs of many different colors of wool roving. I believe this bit was probably about 35 different colors that I got for under $20. Don't remember exactly. But anyways, right now I'm going to choose this green. And I'm going to put a Christmas tree on the mitten. Let's see. Or maybe do I want a wreath? Yeah, I think I'm going to do a wreath instead. So you get it and then roll it. You have all your fibers going one direction. Take a small pinch and start laying it out. See what it will look like. Of course, you could do any image you want. This time when I poke it, I'm going to try to be careful not to poke too firmly because I do not want there to be green fuzz coming through the backside too much. And I think I'm going to switch to a fine needle. And begin to poke it, tacking that image down where I want it to be. Check the other side. It's not coming through too much. My basic circle. And through just a little bit on the other side. Now let's get a little bit of red here. And I'm going to well, basically you're just putting color where you want it to go. Just kind of like you're painting a little image with wool fibers instead of Russian paint. And double this back. There we go. And now I think I want to do a couple red stripes on the cuff. On this one, I'm going to take the color all the way around to the back of the mitten, so I don't really care if it goes through. Looking a little deeper. It is starting to come through a bit. It just doesn't matter for this part though. Onto the front side to get the last of this tail of fiber down. I think I'm going to do a second stripe up here. Remove that and flip and tack down this last end. And there we go. This is the mitten ornament. I'll just string a little thing to hang it, and she's done. Thank you for watching.